that's another subject that comes up on the channel. Why not just specifically with training, but even like one thing I always find interesting is when you're new, you want to get as much work as possible because you need to learn how to work and you need to learn to work from the crowds. But then at a certain point, you have to start being more selective with your bookings, both for physical health, so your schedule's open for other opportunities, for pay reasons, and stuff like that. And I always find it interesting about what the philosophy is in that regard. And I know we're jumping all over the timeline, but for you specifically, what do you think that line is? Like, at what point do you have to balance working as much as you can to learn, but it being a business and your own health in the process?
Well, your own health is 100% paramount because a lot of people won't have very long careers. I've been quite fortunate that I've wrestled for 21 years and I'm healthy. But, some people may only wrestle for 5, 6 years, and to punish themselves and to sacrifice their health, then that's going to be so negative in the long term. When they're 50 years old and they've got children and grandchildren and they can't do the basic things, when they wake up in the morning and get out of bed and they struggle to put their own socks on, then, that's when the regret will hit them. And if they say, I don't regret it, well, okay, more power to you. But your health's first and foremost. That's what in professional wrestling, you look after yourself and you look after your opponent. They're two non-negotiables, in my opinion. So in terms of, but we've got to be realistic. It's a physical pursuit. There's lots of physicality and there's injuries that are, inevitable in some capacity. But there's still, for me personally, you still have to, I hate the phrase do the reps, but you still have to work regular, you still have to work often. And really, it's a case of the more you work, the smarter you become. And you see some guys who've been around for a long time, and some of the younger guys will say, oh, you don't want to take that many bumps or anything. And that's complete and utter rubbish. It's not that people don't want to take bumps. It's just that you have to factor in the fact that in professional wrestling, when you're taking a bump, you're hurting yourself, you're damaging your body, and you have to weigh up the risk and reward factor. And I always say to people that there's very few occasions in history that people will remember people taking certain bumps, like Foley coming off the cage and things like that. But you think about all the bumps that Mick Foley took in his career, and how many people remember what percentage of those bumps. They remember the one off the cell or an elbow drop. They probably remember a handful of bumps that he took.
Yeah,
and that's it. That probably works out to 0.000 something percent of the bumps he took in his total career. So people have to realize that the fans don't really care about these bumps. They care about you. They care about your your personality. They care about your character. They have a feeling towards you in some capacity, whether that's hatred, whether that's love, jealousy, whatever it is, the whole remit of human emotions. They have to have that human connection to you on that kind of level. And that's what people remember. No one, like I say, people remember Foley's bumps, but if you look back and you think about your favorite wrestling memories, and you'll remember these moments and how you felt. And a lot of them won't be centered around a bump.
Yeah.
So while the bumps are a necessary part of the industry, they're not the be all and end all. And if we're working any kind of show business, the place where you want people to be completely invested in you is when you finish. So the end of your match is not more important than the start, but the people's reaction to you at the end of your match is more important than the reaction to you at the start of the match. If you're not over at the start, you can work to get over and make people feel something. But you don't have to take 50 bumps in a 10-minute match to do that. You just have to connect with people. And like I say, wrestling is wrestling is the journey, but it's not the destination, and the bumps are the same. They're just a means to an end. And that end is to get people to be engaged with your persona, your character, and who you are, because that's what they're paid to see ultimately at the end of the day.